Hello, you're watching Sightline. Today our guest is Mr. Martin Zenker, project coordinator and a lead teacher at Goethe Musiklabor in Ulaanbaatar. So Martin, thank you very much for coming here.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting me.
So the Jazz City Revival Festival is being held in Ulaanbaatar in September and October. So as one of the organizers of the festival, what would you say about this festival?
Well, first of all, as the name says, Jazz City Revival, it's intended to be a signal that we're not dead. Culture is alive, music is alive, and we're trying to bring it on again, bring it to the city. We have been waiting and we've been preparing, and we are so happy to be out there and play music again, and we hope the audience feels the same.
Mm-hmm. So how many days are this festival is going to take place?
Well, we started on September 1st, and the last show will be on the 9th of October, and it's something going on pretty much every day, mostly at the Fat Cat Jazz Club, but also other locations.
So there have been many jazz festivals been organized. Could you tell more about what makes this Jazz City Revival Festival different from others?
Well, I think one thing that's new in this one is that it's quite long. To begin with, also
it's over a month.
It's over a month, yes, and we have plans every Sunday to have a concert in one of the different districts. Also, what's new this time is that we have a lot of Mongolians participating together with foreign musicians. So we combined bands with Mongolians and international artists. So Mongolia is much more involved this time than it was in the previous festivals.
So like how many Mongolians were there in the previous festivals and how many are participating in this year's?
I'm not sure about how many were in the previous festivals, but now since we have started with the jazz education program 7 years ago, there are a lot of foreign musicians, a lot of Mongolian musicians now, and a lot of them studying in Germany at the Partner University in Munich. And we brought them all here. We could finance their flights through exchange programs and stuff. So they are actually also bringing that back, what they learned or what they have been studying, such as Angie or Shutain.
So they graduated from Goethe Musiklabor and then they studied in Germany and then they're back for the festival?
They graduated from Goethe Musiklabor and now they are currently studying in Germany. Some of them on scholarships, some on exchange programs. We also have 6 students from Germany studying at Goethe College right now for an exchange program for 1 year. And once they graduate, we hope they'll come back for good, but they're not graduated yet.
Okay, so now about the foreign jazz musicians, so like also as well, there are lots of foreign musicians. So could you just name some of the participants?
I think the biggest star is definitely Jesse Davis, who will stay in Mongolia for 1 week, starting to perform at Fat Cat on Tuesday. And it's rare, actually, in the world to see an artist of this caliber to perform 5 days in the same club. So it's really something special. And he'll come with the great Korean drummer Kim Min-chan, and I'll have the honor and pleasure to play in the band myself. Another highlight is the South African singer Tutu Puane, who will be in Mongolia for the first time, together with the bass player Schalk Hubert. Then we had Bastien Riese, who already did his share of the festival. That was in the first week. And of course, a lot of the Mongolian musicians who are also part of the European scene now. So they count as international, I'd say.
So there are lots of renowned musicians that are participating in this 1 month and 9 days festival. So this is the biggest jazz festival in Mongolia. Would you say that?
Yeah,
definitely. So let's talk about you now. So you have been in Mongolia on and off since 2014. So what was your reason to to settle in Ulaanbaatar, and how do you find working with the musicians in Mongolia?
The first time I came to Mongolia was actually as a tourist in 2010.
2010.
And but then I was invited to perform at the first festival in 2012. And then the idea started of developing a jazz program at the conservatory, which was the college back then. And we developed that concept together with the Goethe Institute, and then I kind of stayed, because you don't start a jazz program in 1 year, you know, it's a process that takes time. And I currently work at 3 universities. I work at the one in UB and in Klagenfurt in Austria and in Munich. So I'm usually, when we don't have Corona, I'm here 3 weeks and 3 weeks in Europe. How do I find working with Mongolian musicians? It's great, and it's extremely different to working in a European environment.
Cultural difference?
What's the difference?
The cultural difference?
The culture, yes, yes. And certain things are easier here, certain things are harder here, and it's, you know what, if I want to describe it in one word, I'd say rewarding.
What kind of things are harder here?
Making plans and
keeping up with the plans?
yes. One of the problems we have here is, or when you know, I work a lot with funding that we got from Germany, for example, or from European Union, and they want to know about a year in advance, what are you going to do with this money, and when is the concert, and what time does it start? And here it's more like
we're more like laid back.
Yes, more laid back, right. And that to juggle that is not always so easy. And things are shifted around and stuff. It's a bit of a challenge, but overall, rewarding is the word I would choose, really.
So now let's talk about your previous project, the one you started, the GMUB. So many Mongolian contemporary jazz musicians, such as Shuteng, Angie Sisters, and Jazz Train, as well as musicians from the Mongol Jazz Jazz Big Band of the State Philharmonic. So they have taken part in the program. So it has been clearly very successful. So what was the reason it was successful, and what kind of goals did you have in your mind?
When we started 7 years ago, we did not really know where we were going. We just started, and we wanted to do something good. And the goal
of really great.
Thank you, thank you. And it's not just me, actually. It's a lot of people involved. And if I have a chance, I want to express my gratitude to Ulaanbaatar, to Ulaanbaatar, to Sharafzern, and all these people. And thank you, everybody. The goal was always, I remember sitting in a cafe 10 years ago or 9 years ago and thinking it through, and the goal was always to get the graduates of GMUB to the point where they are ready to study abroad, study, come back and teach, so that after 6 or 8 years we'll have a school with qualified teachers, because now we're still depending on bringing foreign teachers in, because there is no Mongolians with master's degrees yet. There will be in a couple of years, and until then we have to keep it going with foreign expertise. But once we have that, I think it can be a great school, and then for me the project is finished. But right now we run a bachelor program which enables us to do a lot of exchange work with partner universities. We're trying to expand that network. We're currently working with Munich, with Klagenfurt in Austria. We're probably setting up a partnership with Jerusalem very soon, maybe Rio de Janeiro, so that UB gets known as a player in the international jazz world. That's our goal. Yeah.
But you just said that the program will be over in some years. So how many years will the program be going on?
No, I didn't mean to say that the program will be over. I'll say it can then, the bachelor program can then run without foreign support. There will always be exchange, but it's not depending on foreign teachers to come over and teach, because we have enough Mongolian teachers, such as, I hope, Shitein, Angie, Tovcho, Temka and all these, the jazz-trained people.
Yeah. So the project was, first it was like a workshop style, but then it then developed into this educational program you've told us about. So how many students who have completed the GMUB program have studied or are studying in Germany?
In Germany?
Or other countries?
Currently we have 5 who study regularly.
In Munich?
In Munich. And we have 2 who are going to Austria. And we just had 4 students over on a 1-year exchange program. And they just came back like 2 weeks ago. And 3 are going over in about 2 or 3 weeks. And 6 Germans are currently here. So it's a lot of exchange, and we're sending also several teachers every year. It's a great program funded by DAAD, German Academic Exchange Service, and it gives us the security to plan a couple of years ahead, because we will have that support for a few years, so we can actually make plans.
Yes. So now let's talk one of the successful graduates, Angie, and her album Mongolian Song, which is actually an album that that has got rearranged Mongolian songs into the jazz style, which is actually quite a new genre, and it can be called like Mongolian Jazz. So how did you come up with this idea, and how is this new genre going on so far?
I mean, we have been asked from the get-go, from the very start. Like we ran this project for 1 week, and then people in Germany and in Mongolia were asking, is there Mongolian jazz now? Is there Mongolian jazz now? And I always think, give these people some time, you know. Mongolian music is several thousand years old, jazz is 100 years old. You can't just throw it together and mix it together. So I was never actually pushing that, but I think it was 2015, it happened to be Gonchik Somla's 100th birth anniversary. And for that occasion, we have been asked to arrange one song, and we choose Denjin Nogo. And it worked well and became a success. And then later on, the Goethe Institute offered to finance a recording. So we brought Angie to Germany, and we recorded there with some international artists, including the legendary Billy Hart. And me and my colleague Paul Kirby, we did some more arrangement, and it turned into a program and into something that seems to be successful of sorts.
Are you going to work with another artist on the Mongolian jazz genre?
I think people like Stein or people like Tofju are actually doing that now. The Angie sisters, I'm not sure how familiar you are with that recording they did. There is a couple of songs written by Stein that go into that genre. The bass player Mungun Tofj, who is, by the way, a phenomenally talented guy, he won a competition, no, he was second in the competition, with a piece that also used Mongolian influence. So this will all happen. I don't think this needs to be pushed. It's a natural process, you know. And if I may be very honest, of course every country has their national identity and all that, but I wouldn't focus on that word Mongolian jazz or anything. It's music, and it's supposed to connect. And if you emphasize the word Mongolian or German jazz, or it's almost like setting up a border. Let's just call it music, and hopefully we like it. Right. Hopefully everybody likes it and connects people. That's really the goal.
Okay. So another very successful graduates are the jazz train band that was formed out of the program. So their albums and performances have been excellent and has been like appreciated by many Mongolians, many young people. And so how did the band come to be, and where is it going?
The jazz train was clearly a product of those first GMUB years, where the most talented guys formed a band that has partly been formed in the in the classroom or in the laboratory. And then they just continued working and they tried to find concerts, and we also had the chance to finance a recording for them. And they took off, and they were the first all-Mongolian jazz band that actually played real jazz here. And I think that's the reason for their success. And now 4 of them are studying in Germany, and one of them runs the Fat Cat Jazz Club, which, by the way, is one of the nicest clubs in the world, honestly.
World.
And I think it's time to bring them all together again. But this time the saxophone player couldn't make it. He couldn't come over, but I'm sure they're going somewhere.
So during this Jazz City Revival Festival, there are like many Mongolian artists and also foreign artists are participating. So, but in the international festivals, are Mongolian artists participating as a guest artist?
Some of them, yes. I mean, there is a whole scene around this. There is this group that does more like an ethno-jazz thing that I'm not so involved with. And I know they have been out there in festivals in Switzerland and stuff. And of course, Angie, I was with her at a festival in South Africa and in Russia and several places. So the ones based in Europe are certainly a little closer to that circuit. They will certainly be participating, but I think others as well. It's always a matter of finances. To be honest, somebody has to pay for the trip, and a flight out of Mongolia is difficult, as you know.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Okay, so Mr. Zenker, thank you very much, and unfortunately our time is coming to an end. And what final message do you have for our audience?
I think I have 1 or 2 messages. First of all, I would like to draw everybody's attention on the fact that we just finished a translation of an incredibly knowledgeable book about jazz history. It's 1,000 pages, and it's the first of that kind in Mongolian language. So I'm sure there's many people out there who wonder, what's the history of this music? Where can I get information? You can get it. The book's sold in the Internom shops and also at Fat Cat, and it's a beautiful book. I only read it in German, but I trust the translation is great. So look out for that book. It's really fantastic. It's great. And the other thing I want to say is I want to express again my gratitude to everybody who made this festival possible, and that's Hongor from Fat Cat. That's all our sponsors. And of course, that's Jazz Lab, the NGO run by Mandukai. We put so much work in this in the last year, and so much passion and energy, and now I just want to tell to the audience, join us, come to our concerts and share this energy and this passion and this love for the music with us.
Thank you very much.
You're
Mr.
most
Zenker.
welcome. Thank you for
it's
having
been a pleasure to be talking to you.
Likewise, thank you.
You've watched Sightline. Today we talked to Mr. Martin Zenker, project coordinator and lead teacher at Goethe Musiklabor Ulan Bator. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.